Good evening. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge, and this is GBS News 9 coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. We have a lot lined up for you tonight, but first, here are the highlights.
Your Excellency, my dear brother, I thank you most sincerely for accepting to support Kenya's candidature for the position of the chairperson of the Africa Union Commission 2025-2028.
We are for Raila. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo endorses ODM leader Raila Odinga for AU chairman's position in a bilateral talk with President William Ruto. Court intervenes and issues an ultimatum to doctors to wind up negotiations in earnest.
Nilikuwa kwa kiti ya hii ya nyuma pale, hii kakitanda ya lori nimelala, so I could not understand chenye kilifanyika vizuri, but what I heard was a bang. Kuamka tu hivi dakika kidogo nijipata chini ya lori.
Easter celebrations concludes with more tragedies rocking families. Among them, Meru Deputy Speaker Mwenda Ali, who lost 2 children in a road accident.
Before all these training courses that we've taken, we could let ourselves do whatever we wanted. But after all these courses, especially on the rules of combatants, the protection of medical missions, respect and protection of children, protection of women, prohibition of sexual violence, and the protection of famine and humanitarian access, and so on.
The goal here is exactly to encourage other groups to follow the examples of these bigger groups. In the North Kivus, in Eastern Congo, where they come from, there are myriads of armed groups. And the fact that these big ones here are signing a commitment like this and are already changing behavior.
We are in this together. DRC armed group turns to defending civilians. Now, Kenya and Ghana have signed 7 agreements aimed at enhancing bilateral relations between the two countries. President William Ruto said the MOUs, including some signed by business associations from Kenya and Ghana, are aimed at facilitating trade and investment between the two nations. The goal, he said, is to expand opportunities for business, the private sector, and the people of the two nations. Other MOUs include cooperation in science and technology, tourism, education, governance, and defense. He made the remarks during a press conference at President Akufo-Addo's office after the two leaders held talks during President Ruto's state visit to Ghana. President Akufo-Addo committed to support Kenya's candidature for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission 2025 to 2028. At the same time, President Ruto assured Ghana of Kenya's support for the candidature of Ms. Shirley Portway, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, for the position of Commonwealth Secretary General for the period of 2024 to 2029. In October 2022, the President flagged off the inaugural shipment of Kenyan tea from Nairobi to Ghana.
Trade and economic ties between our two nations have been growing steadily over the years, with cultural exchanges fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of each other. We've supported each other on various international platforms, including within the United Nations, the African Union, and the Commonwealth, advocating for common positions on issues such as peace and security, climate change, and sustainable development. Overall, these relations have been characterized by mutual respect, cooperation, and a shared commitment to advancing the interests of our respective nations and the African continent as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, our deliberations centered on driving investment opportunities, domestic and foreign, into our two countries, and touched on the need for enhanced cooperation and partnership in our development efforts. I also used the opportunity of my talks with the President to express the appreciation of the Ghanaian people and their government, to the government and people of Kenya for the support we received in our bid to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The importance of the AFCFTA should not be lost on anyone, as its successful operation has the potential to transform the economic circumstances of the continent.
I congratulate you, Mr. President, for being appointed the champion for Africa Union for the establishment of the Africa Union financial institutions. This include the Africa Central Bank, the Africa International Monetary Fund, the Africa Investment Bank, and the Pan-African Stock Exchange. My brother and I discussed at great length on how these institutions, championed by His Excellency the President, and in fact when he spoke at the Africa Union in February, I endorsed wholeheartedly the building of these institutions as a mechanism of consolidating our own economic and financial situation in our continent. And I concur with His Excellency the President that we should, as African countries, invest in these institutions. And Kenya, last year, invested $40 million in Afrexim Bank. We are considering investing in Trade and Development Bank. We are considering investing in all the other institutions as a way of putting a stamp of approval of these institutions and building their capacity to assist us develop our own financial institutions and leverage on them to acquire the much needed concessional financing to finance our own development. Your Excellency, as I have told you, you have my absolute support on this subject. And as we work collaboratively and collectively as African leaders to consolidate the place of the Africa Union and rationalize its institutions and reform its institutions, a mandate that was assigned to me by my colleagues, what the President is championing is going to be part of the consolidation, of the reform, of the enhancement of institutions that will support the progress and prosperity of our continent. I have informed Mr. President that I'm looking forward to him working with me and all the other leaders to make sure that we have an Africa Union as an institution that is fit for purpose to drive the prosperity of our continent.
The High Court has extended the order suspending the ongoing doctor strike for 14 days to conclude the reconciliation process. Justice Byram Ongaya, while giving out the directions to the parties on Wednesday, said that the strike notice issued before the ongoing doctor strike was extended. Here is more on this. Kenyans seeking health services at public facilities must wait longer to access services after a request by the Ministry of Health for an additional 14 days to continue negotiating with doctors to end the countrywide strike was granted. Justice Byram Ongaya, while giving out the directions to the parties on Wednesday, said that the strike notice issued by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union will remain suspended on condition that the parties conclude and file in court the Memorandum of Understanding on minimum safety services in the event of the strike by doctors in public health institutions. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, which represents more than 7,000 members, went on strike on March 15th to demand payment of their salary arrears and the immediate hiring of trainee doctors, among other grievances. The government, through the head of public service, Felix Koskei, asked the doctors to end their strike in a statement issued late on Tuesday, saying the salary arrears have been paid and that trainee doctors would be hired from Thursday this week for 2.4 billion Kenya shillings. However, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union officials have declined the offer, saying it contradicts the 2017 collective bargaining agreement.
To give commitments, that also was not given yet. Then there's issue of collective bargaining agreement of 2017-2021, the basic salary arrears that they owe us for the last 7 years. Goodwill comes out of previous commitments that were actually fulfilled.
President William Ruto has secured Ghana's support for Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union chairmanship during his state visit to the country. In a statement after holding talks with President Nana Akufo-Addo earlier today, Ruto said Kenya will in turn support Ghana's candidature for the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Here is more on the same.
President William Ruto has secured Ghana's endorsement of Kenya's bid for the African Union Commission chairperson ahead of the February 2025 elections. The revelation comes as Kenya steps in its charm offensive to convince regional leaders to support Raila Odinga to succeed the incumbent Musa Faki, who has served in the position since March 14th of 2017.
Your Excellency, my dear brother, I thank you most sincerely for accepting to support Kenya's candidature for the position of the chairperson of the Africa Union Commission 2025-2028, which has been initiated following comprehensive stakeholder engagement process across government. On our part, I have assured His Excellency that Kenya will support the Republic of Ghana for the candidature of Honorable Shirley Bochwe, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, for the position of Secretary General of the Commonwealth for the period 2024-2029.
Ruto said Kenya's candidature is informed by its leading role in enhancing and sustaining Pan-African agenda. He singled out the push for independence and sovereignty, peace, security, development and prosperity, sustainability, and climate action among priority areas for African countries. According to Ruto, the two bids present an opportunity for Kenya and Ghana to collaborate for mutual benefit. On March 15th, the AU unanimously adopted the right for the East African region to produce the next chairperson of the AU Commission in the next year's elections. The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi described it as a breakthrough for the East African region to present candidates for the post. Raila has so far received backing from several heads of states, including Uganda's Yoweri Museveni. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza today officially joined the United Democratic Alliance Party. Speaking during a press conference held at the UDA party headquarters, the party chairperson, who is also Embu County Governor Cecil Mbarire, officially ushered Governor Mwangaza into the party, assuring her of the party's full support in her leadership. Davis Karani with the details.
It was an event that was blended by yellow and green colors, an event to usher in Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza into the United Democratic Alliance Party. This event comes in one day after President William Ruto chaired the United Democratic Alliance Party Steering Committee meeting at the party's headquarters ahead of the party's grassroots elections that are to be held in 4 phases across all the 47 counties, beginning from the 26th of April, spreading all the way up to June and August consecutively. Governor Kawira Mwangaza congratulated all the UDA officials for welcoming her into the party and urged all Meru leaders to bury their differences and work together with her for the benefit of the people of Meru.
Nataka pia kusema ni asante kwa sababu ya mwaliko mkubwa sana. Kwa marafiki wetu ambao wako nyumbani, MCS ambao hawajafika siku ya leo, especially wale wa UDA, mimi kama mama kiongozi nataka kusema ya kwamba naomba tufanye kazi kwa pamoja. Viongozi wengine wote, members of county assembly ambao wameingia kwa bus, wengine wako kwa Jubilee, wengine wako parties mbalimbali, kama mama kiongozi kwa unyenyekevu. Naomba tufanye kazi kwa pamoja.
This move comes after failed attempts to impeach the governor by the members of Meru County Assembly on the basis of allegations on her incompetence. Reporting for GBS News at 9, I am Davis Karani.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. On that note, let us take our very first break. We'll be right back.
So through the 4 gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고,
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb,
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수님 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데,
and through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
My name is Eugene Kwach, and this is The Insider. Of course, you're watching GBS TV.
Since independence, we have a tax rate that is above 30% for individuals, which is around 35%. And when you look at the region, I think we are among the countries that have the highest income tax rates for individuals in Africa. Tax can only be punitive when, number one, it's not aligned to what we call the canons of taxation or the principles of taxation. The biggest issue is how those borrowings are actually utilized. And then number two, if at all we can try and have a balance between how much you are borrowing and the size of our GDP. If you are running a business or an individual that wants to be very certain about the future and about the continuity of the business, then it's important for you to ensure you're tax compliant, to avoid that uncertainty, and to avoid your business from being shut down for tax compliance issues.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. You're still watching GBS News 9. The government is committed to ensuring teacher-student ratio is realistic and attainable by employing 20,000 more teachers who will address the acute shortage being witnessed in the country. Speaking at Colonia Girls National School, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu noted that already the Kenya Kwanza administration has employed 50,000 teachers within its first year in office. The Cabinet Secretary, who also affirmed his commitment to improving school infrastructure, gifted Colonia Girls and St. Paul's Amakura 10 million check each to improve their infrastructure to meet the standard and population in the two schools. Either Machogu called on parents to take advantage of various TVET institutions to equip their children with relevant skills for job market. His sentiments comes amidst an outcry by the Member of Parliament of Teso South, Mary Emase, needing the government to promote teachers as a motivating factor to boost overall performance in the school. Either the school principal noted, as a national school already, they were worse hit by the shortage within 40 Teacher Service Commission employed teachers against a target of over 65 teachers, which is in line with the Ministry of Education guidelines.
As we celebrate Colonia Girls, we must acknowledge that performance in the county is wanting. It is not as rosy as it's painted here. Kwa hivyo tuko na kazi ya kufanya waziri. Wewe pamoja na sisi na viongozi wote wa elimu TSC tuko na kazi ya kufanya. Some schools are performing badly. Iko shule ingine waziri utapata ni E na D, the best is D+. Have demonstrated that with determination, focus, and discipline, you will get good results. And the minute I walked here into this compound, I noticed one thing: discipline.
Kolanya girls, we have challenges with regard to teachers, because our curriculum-based establishment requires that we have 60 teachers, but at the moment we have only 40 TSC employed teachers. So we are having an additional 20 teachers that the Board of Management is supporting through payment of salaries. So it's actually a heavy challenge. It's a heavy weight on our finances as a school, but we are trusting that when the government considers employment of more teachers, they'll give us priority. Because being a national school, if we really need to meet the standards, then we require sufficient teachers. And given the strain that we have on infrastructure, we are equally or doubly strained when we are spending money that is meant to do other school activities on payment of salaries.
Tangu serikali ingie usukani, ile walimu ambayo tumeajiri ndio mambo yaende sawa, ni riba 56,750. Nambari ambayo itawahi kuajiriwa tangu miaka mingi, nafikiri tangu hamjawahi sikia namba kubwa kama hiyo. Mwaka huu ile pesa ambayo tumepewa tena ya kuajiri walimu ni 20,000 more teachers this particular financial year. Kitu kingine ambayo tunatilia mkazo sana ya kwamba kama mtoto apate nafasi ya kwenda chuo kikuu, hiyo si ya kwamba ameanguka, si ya kwamba hakuna pahali ambaye aweze kwenda tena kupatia masomo ya kiufundi, ya ujuzi ambaye itasaidia nchi, ambaye itasaidia mtoto. Ndio kila constituency serikali imeanzisha TTI. Ile serikali ya Ruto imefanya kuhakikisha ya kwamba nafasi za kazi siku. Watoto wetu locally, mambo mnasikia ya housing, mambo mnasikia ya digital skills, watoto wetu ambao wako katika TTI. Sasa wengine makampuni kutoka Europa, kutoka Marekani, kutoka Asia, wakienda kule na mitambo kidogo kompyuta, wanajipatia kazi, wanajipatia pesa dola. Na hiyo ndio tunaendelea kuhimiza ya kwamba tukiinvest katika mambo ya elimu, vile lazima tuhakikishe ya kwamba watoto wetu wanapata nafasi za kazi.
Across Kenya celebrate Easter, a wave of tragedy has swept through the nation, leaving communities reeling from multiple fatal accidents. Among the heart-wrecking incidents, Meru County Deputy Speaker Mwenda Ali's family is mourning the loss of 2 daughters in a horrific road collision. The Deputy Speaker himself is battling severe injuries after their vehicle burst into flames following a head-on collision. These grim events punctuate a series of accidents, including one involving Chavakali High School students and another claiming 10 lives along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway. The tragedies have ignited calls for stricter enforcement of traffic laws as authorities grapple with the devastating toll on families and communities nationwide. Susan Nganga with the details.
As Easter celebrations unfold across the country, numerous families are grappling with heartache as they mourn the loss of their loved ones due to tragic accidents. Among those affected is the family of Meru County Deputy Speaker Mwenda Ali, who tragically lost 2 daughters in a fatal road accident on the Meru-Embu highway. Reports reveal that Deputy Speaker Ali, along with other family members, were involved in a head-on collision between the Subaru and a Toyota Hilux, resulting in a devastating fire that engulfed their vehicle. Tragically, this accident is not isolated. On Monday, April 1st, one student from Chavakali High School died and several others sustained injuries after an easy coach bus they were traveling in was involved in an accident along the Kisumu-Kakamega highway in Kisumu County.
Easy coach kwa sababu hiyo ndio basi huwa wanatumia kucommute wakaangalia wakaona all the buses were fully booked by other schools prior, so haingekuwa kitu wange make a decision na sema okay sawa twendeni kesho because there were no buses. Akaamua sasa wa travel usiku, na ni kitu ambacho hakijawahi fanyika kwa any midterm, any closing day haijaifanyika usiku. So wazazi wengine walikuwa sawa, wazazi wengine hawakuwa sawa. So I was worried why hawako natupatia option mimi mwenye staki ni nini nyingine naweza fanya.
In Makueni County, another tragedy struck as 10 people lost their lives in a multi-vehicle accident at the Salama area along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway. The vehicles involved included an 18-seater matatu operated by the Spanish Shuttle, 2 trucks, a saloon car, and an Icana Sacco registered 14-seater matatu.
We were from Mombasa. We had gone for the Easter holidays to my aunt's place. And so on coming back, one of the cars that we had collided with a trailer. The ones in Nakuru currently, there are 3. Those ones are in stable condition. But we left 4 in Makindu. Those ones are a bit unstable and in critical.
Huyu jamaa ka lose control na ikakuja ikanifuata mimi. So ikakuja mimi sasa venye nimeiona hivyo nikajaribu kuyepa, lakini speed yangu ilikuwa chini. Nilikuwa speed ya 10. So ilikuwa too late.
Mimi kwanza nilikuwa nimelala, nilikuwa kwa kiti ya nyuma pale. Hii kakitanda ya lori nimelala. So I could not understand chenye kilifanyika vizuri. But what I heard was a bang. Kuamka tu hivi dakika kidogo nijipata chini ya lori.
This incident underscore the urgent need for stricter enforcement of traffic rules and regulations.
Being a major concern to us, especially we see how the speeding that occurs and the lane indiscipline by they're not keeping onto their lanes. So we urge motorists to please slow down and keep onto their lanes unless clear.
Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and his interior counterpart Kithure Kindiki have faced scrutiny over the government's enforcement measures. In response, CS Murkomen reversed an earlier directive withdrawing NTSA officers from traffic enforcement duties. A nationwide crackdown exercise has since been initiated, resulting in the arrest of numerous motorists found violating traffic regulations. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
The county government of Machakos has been awarded for exemplary performance in the implementation of the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture projects. The World Bank has ranked the governor of Vihiga Ndeti-led county 3rd overall position in Kenya for implementing life-transforming projects touching on small-scale farmers and cooperatives. Governor Vihiga, who received the trophy in a ceremony hosted by her Athi River office, declared Machakos was now a food secure county, following a raft of strategic measures deployment by her administration since taking over leadership on the devolved unit. The governor noted that the World Bank-funded program has massively invested in life-changing projects that have unlocked numerous barriers to the progression of agriculture industry in the lower eastern wealthiest county. Some of the development projects implemented under KCSAP include rehabilitation of Ukanga Utune and Kalata dams in Kangundo Central and Ikombe wards, respectively, and the sealing of Kithayoni, Limba and Kitambasie dams in Kalama, Wamunyu and Matungulu regions, respectively. Through the projects, residents have been able to undertake small-scale agribusiness projects while at the same time assessing clean water for domestic consumption. At the same time, the National Coordinating Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture lauded Governor Vihiga and her administration for making the right decisions in the implementation of donor-funded projects.
I'm focusing on development. I'm focusing on people of Machakos County. Since you are sworn in as the governor, just look around and see how many development partners have come to this county, ideally who are not part of this county. and the story is there to be told.
County, the ones who were implementing the project together. You remember our start was not as good as the finishing. Yeah? And I think we needed the momentum of a woman's church to give it a final push. And this afternoon, I'm delighted to be associated with this great county.
Anticipating very high yield this year. I was talking to the chairman of Kambusu. This year is projecting to harvest around 1.5 million kilos, up from 700.
The trophy that I'm receiving today will be presented to me as a symbol of unwavering commitment in supporting our farming communities across different wards in Machakos County. Thank you so much, KSAP, for being forthright in supporting our cause.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, has lauded the long-enduring bond between Kenya and Ghana, saying the three-day state visit by President William Ruto to Ghana that begins on Tuesday is a statement of the growing partnership between the two nations. Speaking earlier today during the second session of the Kenya-Ghana Joint Permanent Commission for Cooperation in Accra, Dr. Mudavadi reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to exploring the potential avenues of shared interest to expand the relations further. The Prime Cabinet Secretary added that several bilateral frameworks of cooperation have been signed in crucial areas such as agriculture, information, technology, trade, transport, tourism, technical vocational education, and energy, demonstrating the commitment to broadening and deepening collaboration. On her part, Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Honorable Shile Ayokor, expressed her unwavering commitment to working closely with Dr. Mudavadi to solidify the long-standing relations between Ghana and Kenya.
Engagement such as this is indicative of our respective countries' joint commitment to strengthen bilateral relations through dialogue and the sharing of expertise and knowledge in the different areas of endeavor. I acknowledge the bond of friendship that happily exists between Ghana and Kenya, dating back to our first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and President Jomo Kenyatta, both of blessed memory. The two great leaders have been described by historians as anti-colonialists, pan-Africanists, and drivers of unity in the history of Africa, whose paths crossed at Manchester in 1945 during the planning of the 5th Pan-African Congress. And despite their individual ideological differences, they were united in the quest to liberate their respective countries and the rest of Africa from colonial rule. It is gratifying to note that this year marks the attainment of a remarkable feat of 61 years of diplomatic relations between our two countries.
Kenya and Ghana enjoy cordial relations which can be traced back to the pre-independence struggle period that was characterized by the struggle for self-rule and independence, when respective liberation movements drew inspiration from one another within the spirit of Pan-Africanism. And
Many thanks for joining this live broadcast. We have a lot lined up for you in our news segment tonight, but first let us take a quick commercial break.
There's nothing that can happen to a man, not unless God allows it to happen.
Do according to him, and he shall love you. He shall love them.
and he shall take care of them, because he says, those who love me, I will hold their hands till the end of time.
Invite someone to come to your house. One of the things that they cannot forget is the phone charge. When it comes to relationships and probably communication, that distance is not a barrier.
Yeah.
But it is in communication, in effective communication.
Oh, have you told your daughter how they acquire HIV and AIDS? When I go to speak in school, they will tell me, ukimwi ni mnyama mbaya. And no, sio mnyama. They have to know how it happens.
From a distance, the baby looks normal, and although her head is a bit smaller, I assume that is the norm for all newborns. But this assumption was wrong. This is not like any other normal baby, nor is it a newborn. The baby is abnormally tiny, and all her features appear weakly. Its head, hands, eyes, and legs, and in general the whole body are extra small, and as the mother explained, the baby lacks enough blood in its system. It was surely a sad scenario.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and now to matters international news. A story that emerged in a landmark event at a signing ceremony in the City Hall that was held in Geneva, where representatives from armed groups in the Democratic Republic of Congo were witnessed signing pledges under a crystal chandelier to better protect civilians amidst escalating violence in the region. Here are the details.
Under the auspices of Geneva Call, a humanitarian organization dedicated to safeguarding civilians in the conflict areas, saw the signing of the armed groups committing to ending the sexual violence, addressing food insecurity, same time improving access to the healthcare in the volatile eastern region of Congo where the Dominion operates.
We are here as representatives of a patriotic resistance group in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we are here in Geneva to reiterate our commitment to respect international humanitarian law and human rights. Before all these training courses that we've taken, we could let ourselves do whatever we wanted. But after all these courses, especially on the roles of combatants, the protection of medical missions, respect and protection of children, protection of women, prohibition of sexual violence, and the protection of famine and humanitarian access, and so on. Now we feel we can see that there is a change on the ground, and so we can't let ourselves do whatever we want anymore.
President Felix Tshisekedi, who had prioritized curbing violence in the eastern parts of the country, welcomed the initiative. However, the region had been plagued by the decade-long conflicts involving over 120 armed groups vying for control and resources. The armed groups, namely CMC-FDP and the NDC-R-Gideon, underlined their commitment to upholding international humanitarian law and the human rights. They also undertook significant measures, including releasing hostages and perpetrators of sexual violence as part of their collaboration with the Geneva Call. Alain Delitros, Director General of Geneva Call, stressed the importance of such commitments in encouraging other armed groups to follow suit.
The goal here is exactly to encourage other groups to follow the examples of these bigger groups. In the North Kivu, in eastern Congo, where they come from, there are myriads of armed groups. And the fact that these big ones here are signing a commitment like this and are already changing behaviors.
As the Democratic of Congo continues to fight for peace and stability, the commitments made by these armed groups offered a glimmer of hope, same time setting an example for the other armed groups to follow suit. Jennifer Macau, GBS News.
In a monumental move marking a significant shift in Gabonese politics, the nation on Tuesday embarked on a national dialogue aimed at revitalizing its democratic institutions after 54 years under the Bongo dynasty. Led by President Felix Tshisekedi, the dialogue signified a crucial step towards fostering hope for a brighter future in the country. An initiative spearheaded by Archbishop Jean Patrick Ibaba and attended by over 4,000 citizens at the Libreville Sports Palace, symbolizing a collective effort to chart a new course for Gabon. Amidst the gathering, the sentiment of unity and determination to speak with one voice resonated strongly among the attendees.
Here, a historic opportunity to leave to posterity a fairer, more fraternal and prosperous Gabon. It's truly a grand gathering where Gabon brings together all its children so that we speak with one voice. It is time for Gabon's wealth to benefit Gabonese people. It is time for the oil money to benefit the Gabonese people. We have just gone through 54 years of difficulties. We need to turn things around. There is no fatalism. I think things can be done. In terms of development, you see some strength being shown, but it was simply a matter of vision or a matter of will.
The semi-autonomous state of Puntland State said its withdrawal from the country's federal system, asserting that it would govern itself independently until constitutional amendments passed by the central government in Somalia were approved in a nationwide referendum. Here are the details.
Some critics stated the changes, which included introducing direct presidential elections and allowing the president to appoint a prime minister without parliamentary approval, as concentrate power in the hands of the executive. One of the main changes brought by this amendment was the introduction of universal suffrage, ending the clan-based indirect voting system that had been in place in Somalia for decades.
Basically, what we have witnessed on Saturday was actually the adoption of a new constitution and disregarding the constitution that was agreed and adopted on the 1st of August 2012, which all Somalis has signed up to it.
Puntland is a region in the northeast Somalia that had declared itself as an autonomous state in August in 1998 and had been seeking to be part of a federal Somalia.
Basically, what happened is that they have changed 45 articles, 195 sub-articles, introduced 19 new articles, as well as 94 sub-articles. This constitutes as a whole new constitution. It's not a review process that Puntland has always supported in finalizing the provisional constitution.
The latest development was understood to be a tough nut for President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who is struggling to end an Al-Qaeda-linked insurgency and assert federal authority over the breakaway region of Somaliland.
Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and his team deliberately decided to pursue a path of unconstitutionally, meaning reverting all progress that has been made the last 24 years, politically and socially, which causes unnecessary political tension, polarization since his return to power.
Israel Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on Tuesday spoke in Jerusalem a day after a strike widely attributed to Israel, stating that Israel was operating, and I quote, everywhere and every day, end of quote, to deter its enemies from exacting a heavy toll against its nation. Gallant spoke in Jerusalem a day after a strike widely attributed to Israel that killed 2 Iranian generals and demolished Iran's consulate in the Syrian capital Damascus. However, Israel did not officially confirm that it was behind the attack. He also warned that any attack against Israel would exact a heavy price, while Iran same time vowed to respond to the Damascus attack.
Every day we gain further evidence that we find ourselves in a multi-front war that is built offensively and defensively. We see evidence of this every day, including over the last few days, but let's make this clear: we operate everywhere in order to prevent our enemies from gaining strength. And in order to make it clear, anyone who acts against us will pay a heavy price.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. And that international news brings us to our sports news. Let's get sporty. In Nairobi's poorest neighborhoods, a unique sport has been offering a ray of hope to the youth through the fencing society, often associated with the elite cultures, making its mark in the heart of Kenya's urban landscape while gaining popularity among the youth in Nairobi, despite the challenges of limited equipment and resources. At the Savora Fencing Club in Huruma, young people have been witnessed dressed in pristine white outfits, normally gathering to earn their skills, same time using it as a tool to escape the pressures emerging from their environment. Here is more on the same.
For some people like Mburu Wanyuike and Stephen Okalo, fencing has been transformating to their lives and the delinquency of coaching Kenya's national fencing team. Their journey reflecting the power of sports to change lives.
When we started, I started with about 4 people. And now when I'm seeing I'm having good fences. I'm having about 45. And the schools now, they have started taking it. So I know by our strategic plan, by 5 years, I know fencing will have reached somewhere.
With the mentorship and the training offered to the youth, Savora Fencing has not only produced talented fencers but also served as a beacon of hope for the community through the club shielding them from the dangers of their environment.
I used to be a gangster. I was in crime, and crime makes you feel isolated. It actually puts you in a place where you're isolated, making you feel depressed, having stress. And I chose fencing for a way for me to escape out of the hood and escape that lifestyle.
I can't imagine myself without this sport because it has kept me very busy. In my area, many girls have become teenage mothers, and that's not a wonderful life.
Initially, I had bad companies at home, but now that I'm in fencing, it has kept me busy, and now it's a better option for me because I feel happy doing it.
Despite the challenges, Savora Fencing still stands as a testament to the transformative power of sports in even the most challenging environments. And with determination and community support, these young fencers are carving a pathway from crime and towards a brighter future.
Sometimes it's tough when it comes to competing with well-equipped international countries who are well organized. So what we do, we just move on with the enthusiasm and the obsession. The fact that we don't have the equipment-wise, the ones that we have, limited ones, we use them. We don't complain or we don't have equipment. We just use what we got, and putting in the obsession and the enthusiasm and the passion combined.
Germany's Stefan Jager won his first PGA Tour title at the 135th attempt with victory at Houston Open. Stefan Jager's victory was confirmed when Scotty missed a birdie chance at the 18th. Scotty Scheffler's record-breaking streak of 28 consecutive rounds under par on the PGA Tour came to an end at the Houston Open, while number one Scotty Scheffler, chasing a third straight win, missed a 5-putt to force a playoff and finished in five-way tie for second. Scheffler, who won the Arnold Palmer Invitational and the Players' Championship back-to-back, spurned the opportunity. His first miss put inside 7 feet all weekend. The 34-year-old narrowly missed a 20-foot birdie chance to give Scheffler the chance to force a playoff. The world number one missed a simple putt on the 18th hole at the Memorial Park to end his second round on a double bogey and card-level par 70. Jager's previous 6 tournament wins were on the second tie Korn Ferry Tour, but a 3-under 67 saw him top the leaderboard by 1 shot on 12 under. Jager, who was part of a 5-way tie for the lead heading into the final round, carded 4 birdies and a bogey on the front 9 before making 9 straight pars. In a remarkable turn of events, Jeremiah Armstead, a forward from Fisk University, recently made history by becoming the first player from a historically black college, aka University Elias Naya School, to receive the prestigious Perry Wallace Most Courageous Award. Armstead's journey from homelessness to basketball stardom captivated many hearts across the nation. Here is more on the scene.
Armstead's resilience and determination was on full display as he recounted the challenges his family faced, moving from place to place and sleeping in their car while spending nights in shelters as Armstead's family struggled to find stability. And despite these adversities, he never lost faith.
The first night we actually slept on the beach. A police officer came and surveyed the parking lot, because you're not supposed to be in the parking lot after midnight. They seen that it was a family of 4. We would sleep, so he just let us go. He let us stay there. So just encounters like that with like everyday good people, it just it helped me to not like be mad at the world and like what I got going on.
When you're traveling around a lot, trying to flee, not say traveling, you're just running. You're trying to, get to a safe situation, get in a safe place, a safe zone.
His dedication to sport served as a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil, with the support of his coach Kenny Anderson, who understood similar struggles, where Armstead found guidance and mentorship.
This young man, his life, being homeless and things of that nature, really sat on me, because I was evicted as a junior. I just was talking about the story this morning.
He was just such a bright young man, had a lot of adversities in his life, and he told me how he desired to go to HBCU, and I said, you know what, we're gonna make this happen.
Despite the challenges, Armstead's talent shone through. He persevered through hardships, sacrificing for his family while chasing his dreams on the basketball court.
Well, I had to grow up at a very young age. Like I had to grow up at a very young age. I had to take care of, be a father figure to my brother and sister, so basketball was like my safe haven. Like I play basketball, that's where I could have fun, be a kid again.
Armstead's story is one of resilience, determination, and triumph over adversity, with his journey to the Final Four to receive the award, surely giving his family something to celebrate. Armstead's recognition not only highlighted the individual achievement, but also served as a reminder of the power and the importance of support networks in overcoming challenges.
Because Jeremiah won, he has an all expense paid trip
to the Final Four.
Jennifer Macau, GBS News.
And that's what news brings us to the end of our news segment tonight. Many thanks for joining the broadcast. And as always, here at GBS News at 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge. Good night.
Everywhere, GBS.